In Excel, you have several tools that enable you to do a what-if analysis. And this is the worksheet that you're working on in Lesson 9. And I've gone ahead and named the ranges that needed to be named in order to demonstrate using the scenario manager. And you don't necessarily have to name the ranges in order to use Scenario Manager, but it is handy in this case. So I'm clicking on the Data tab, and then I'm coming over here to the Data Tools group to the What If Analysis button, and I'm going to choose Scenario Manager. And when I do that, the Scenario Manager dialog box opens up. And if you have any existing scenarios stored in your workbook, they would show up right here. As of right now, we don't have any, so we're going to add 3 of them. So I'll click the Add button. And the first thing I'm going to do is name the scenario. So I'm going to start out with a scenario called Current Prices, where I store the prices that are currently in our worksheet. Then I'm going to tab down to the changing cells, and this is where I tell Excel which cells I want to change in the worksheet. And in this case, we're going to look at changing the prices and how that affects sales, how much income we bring in from the sales of these different eyeglass frames. So there are several ways. There's a couple ways that I can do that in this workbook. I could simply select this range of cells, but previously I've named that particular range. So I'm going to press F3 so I can paste the name, and that particular range I called prices. So once I've done that, I can then go ahead and go on down to the comments area and type in a meaningful comment. For the sake of time on this recording, I'm not going to type in the comment, but in your textbook you do need to do that. So when I click OK, it takes me to the scenario values, and you'll see that I've got the names of the eyeglasses here and the current prices in the worksheet, and that's what I want, so I'm just going to click OK. I'm then going to click Add because I want to add another scenario. And I'm going to add a scenario called Reduced Prices. And because I just created another scenario using the range E22 through E26, it's still in my Scenario Manager dialog box. So I don't need to do anything there. I would add a comment to this, but again, I'm going to skip it for the sake of recording time. And so I'm just simply going to change these prices, and I'm tabbing through. If I press enter, it's going to kick me out of the scenario I'm creating, and I'll have to go back in and edit. So those are all the new prices for the reduced price scenario. I'm going to click OK, and there it is. I'm going to add a third scenario called increased prices. And once again, I don't need to do anything with my changing cells because Excel remembers what I was doing before. Ordinarily, I would change the comments before going on. And here I'm going to go ahead and add my increased prices. Oops. That's just what I didn't want to do. I pressed enter instead of tab. And so there are all of our increased prices. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close the scenario manager. And we'll come back in another video to do some other actions with our scenarios.